Hi guys, this is Will from Will's Rush page, and this will be my first video actually, so very first, which I will add to my YouTube page also. So that being said, a lot of you have been asking to see my vinyl collection, and I thought rather than post another 50,000 photographs, I'd show you in a video. So let's begin. Happy New Year, by the way. It is January 3rd, 2020. So I hope you guys had a great holiday and Christmas and New Year's and whatever else you might celebrate. And so yeah, let's start. Okay, I don't want to yammer on about nothing. So I've pulled all my Rush vinyl out, and I've been going through it. And I separated it into three packages. I've got the box sets, I've got the standard LPs, and then I've got my EPs and special bootlegs and stuff like that. So I'm going to go pretty quick because I got a lot of stuff here, and I'm recording this video and I will repost it. It's live to me right now, but I'll repost it on my page once I watch it and make sure everything's okay. And if not, I'll redo it. Anyway. So let's begin. These are my originals, and I have two because one was my wife's, Michelle, and I've got two original on Anthem here, Rush Farewell to Kings, and both of them are quite used, as you can see, and they're in fairly good condition. I know the discs are, I believe, fairly clean. Now here's the interesting thing. One of them is just the standard. I have to hold that up and I may have to play with my camera a bit, but as you can see, this one came with just the basic clear sleeve, and the next one, let's put that away, which is mine. They're both gatefold, first of all. I should say that. Hold that up, and this one still has the original sleeve that came with Farewell to Kings, which is always one of my favorite sleeves. And you can see the early Rush Star there. So that's kind of cool. As you can see, I've had to tape it back together. It's been beat up over the years, again, from good use. I'll just put this away. And bear with me, this is as I said, my first video, so I'm a little rusty as far as live presentations go. Next up, my original copy of All the World's a Stage, and this one is very beat up and it's dusty, and it's not gatefold. I do not have a gatefold original, and it's got the original sleeves that are taped back together. It's got all the original photographs on the back, which is super cool. And I'm sorry, there's a bit of a glare coming into the window right now, so I'll probably reshoot this at night or another one. You can see the advertisement here for the first four Rush albums, and if you recall, this tour was the 2112 tour, and at Massey Hall in Toronto. We all know the details on this one. It's probably one of the most famous Rush live records. So I'll move on and put these guys back into the sleeves. The nice thing about these old records is you don't mind beating them up because they're already beat up, so you can be kind of rough with them if you want. You're not worried about damaging them in any way. Here is a very used copy of Rush Permanent Waves, and the disc is missing for some reason, but I know we've got another copy of this in the house somewhere. And I know we have the missing disc somewhere in the house also. So as you can see, this one's got coffee stains on it and all kinds of stuff. So totally from back in the day, 1980. And we know the 40th anniversary is coming up this year for this record. So that's cool. Let's go down. Okay, so next up, 2112. This is my gatefold original. Well used, very well played. And I don't know if this actually came with a special sleeve for originals, like older copies. Maybe if you did, I'm not quite sure. You guys can correct me on that. Mine just has the basic paper sleeve, but still a classic. And I always love playing this one. Okay, next up is my copy of Grace Under Pressure. one of the best records ever made. I played this for a year straight when it first came out, and I listened to it every day. It was way ahead of its time, technically, and it had a unique sound, very unique sound for the 80s, and a very interesting message in the music as well as the lyrics. So this is an original copy. And whatever you call that thing, and the lyrics, which is cool. So one thing about vinyl is, as opposed to CDs, with CDs they try and cram the tiny little lyric sheets into the tiny little jewel case, and it's nice that you get all that original artwork and everything, but good luck reading that. You end up having to punch the lyrics up online anyway, if you're like me and your eyesight's going. Okay, next up is my Hold Your Fire, and as you can see, this is dusty and also beat up. This, we had a couple copies in the house floating around. It's got the original insert as well. I had another one of these that I sold last year, and the lyrics once again, which is super awesome. This tour, by the way, was great. I saw them twice, I think, with my wife, and we saw them at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. They were amazing, and they had the three giant red balls, actually like balloons, but tougher material, so they didn't break, and those were floating around, if you guys recall. For those of you that were at the tour, those balls were bouncing around. They were giant balls the size of a car, basically, floating around the stadium, being bounced around through the entire show. Very cool. I think somebody actually still owns one out there. I saw one on the internet last year, which is cool. So let's move forward. This is my original gatefold Exit Stage Left. And you guys know this one, of course, Rush's second live album. They've got paper sleeves inside, and the original gatefold. And this one is so old, it's got a spider web in the middle, right there. And there's probably an old crunchy spider in there, and I really need to clean it up because that's gross. But this is my original gatefold with the red side. Hang on, go the other way. And as you can see from the, sorry about the glare, but you can see the original photographs that came with that gatefold. And I got a thing about gatefold records. I really like them. And I've collected quite a few gatefolds over the years. I like 70s and 80s gatefolds, just because I like 70s and 80s rock and progressive music. So that's why I kind of I like this one. And I know a lot of people have complained about, I've seen some complaints about why they didn't put any pictures on the blank spot on the left side of the sleeve here. But I think it's cool. I think it made a statement. Anyway, enough said about that. Okay. What do we got? We got Presto, and this is my original pressing of Presto. It's in pretty good shape, actually. It's also got the original sleeve with the lyrics. And I believe the vinyl's in very good shape as well. So, let's see, what else do we have here? And I'm just thinking what I'll do is I'll do a separate video for my EPs and the box sets. Otherwise, this will be quite a lengthy video. So then I'll relabel this video as studio records and live records, original releases. So, that being said, I've got the original Rush first album with the explosion on it. This is not a Moon copy, unfortunately. I do not own a Moon copy of this. I have it on Mercury, or excuse me, Anthem. It's on Anthem. This is my original copy with the basic clear sleeve. But what I do have, and give me a second, is I'm going to show you my Moon copy 45. So for those of you who don't know, this is one of the holy grail items for Rush collectors. This and a Moon copy of the LP, also very highly sought after, and they're worth quite a bit, I guess. I'm not sure how much the Moon LP is worth, but I know this one, the 45, released in 1973. It's worth quite a bit, I think, around $1,000, give or take. I know there's been some fluctuation more recently since they retired. That being said, this was released in 1973 with the original drummer John Rutsey. And it's got a cover song on it and an original. It's got Not Fade Away, which is written by Petty and Harden, I believe. And I don't know the history behind that, but I'm sure somebody will know. And then there's also the original track, which I should know off by heart, but I don't remember what it is, so I will just open it up. Oh, You Can't Fight It, which was written by Lee and Rutsey, so Geddy Lee and John Rutsey, and that is on side 1. Excuse me. Let's have a look. You Can't Fight It is actually on side 2. I'm sorry. And I don't know if you've heard these, but it's really aggressive and it's very early Rush sounding. And I also believe that only the story is that only 2,000 or 5,000 of these were made. And that's why they're so valuable. And I guess there's 2 versions. There's a promo and a non-promo copy. I've been told from some Rush experts that the non-promo copy is worth more than the promo copy. And I think what they're talking about is that the sleeve has a non-promo stamp on the actual sleeve and not on the record. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm always open for discussion. So I'll put that away. That ties into the first Rush album that we were talking about. And then what I've got, we're losing the glare. The sun is disappearing, which is nice. Next thing I've got is my original Rush archives. And this is kind of a cool thing because I don't even know if you can get this anymore, or at least a good one. And they certainly didn't re-release it as far as I know, but it is the original first 3 records in gatefold format. I'll open that up and I'll show you what's inside. It's got a picture of Geddy, Alex, and Neil, and it's got 3 records and the songs and the other production details there. And then within, mine does not have anything other than, excuse me, basic blue sleeves, but they're in quite good shape considering how old they are. I'm quite pleased with that. Excuse me. I think some of the dust from these old records is getting into my throat. So that's my copy of Archives. Here's the back, as I showed you before, and here's the front. That's just a cool looking record. It would look very good framed as well. So we're getting down to what's left of my studio collection. I've got a used copy of Power Windows. That's mine. Another great record. Such a unique sound on this one. I know this is very popular among fans. And I remember when Big Money first hit the radio, the very first day it came out, and they played Big Money on the radio, and I was very excited because when I heard it, it had a very unique Rush sound, but it was very modern sounding as well. So you gotta love the hairstyles on the guys back then. But I would just remember that day. I remember when I think it was Q107 or Chum FM in Toronto, their rock station, and they played the new Rush album like they always did. And just hearing that Big Money sound, that unique guitar sound, it really had a punch. So I remember that very well. And again, great record. Excuse me. Okay, and then a personal favorite, Rush Caress of Steel. I had this on cassette, and I wore that out for many years. I bought another cassette. I wore that out. I had it on CD, and I still have my original LP, and I think this has the original sleeve inside. It is not a gatefold. I wish it was, because I know there's some gatefold versions out there, which are also highly sought after for collectors. This one's been taped back together, as you can see, but it's got all the lyrics and the original photographs and everything on it. It's very cool. The back looks the same as the front, just without a somewhat similar photo, without the wizard. And the interesting thing about this, there's a cool story behind this. I guess the original pressing or casing or cover was supposed to be silver, and there was a printing error, and I don't know all the details, but it was supposed to be released in silver, and it came out like this, and it was too late for them to correct it. So it ended up coming out with this kind of copper appeal. And I've seen graphical variations of the silver cover, and it looks amazing, absolutely. But I guess we're all used to this copper type color. It would be neat if they did a 40th or 50th anniversary and re-released it in the original and made it a 200 gram, but that's wishful thinking at this point. But it'd be cool if they did that and released it the way it was supposed to be originally. So that being said, the last one I have in my studio collection is A Show of Hands, and this is Gatefold. And this is another awesome record. It's got, there's the back, and I will show you the inside. And Rush had such a unique sound on this tour. We're very sonic at this point in time. I guess that's the word I like to use for how they played. They were super tight, super fast. They had a very loud, aggressive, but clean sound. And you can see, I think the liner notes and everything are on the left side of that. The sleeves are standard clear sleeving. But again, this is a great record. I've got this on CD. I've got it on this. And I think it was reissued a couple of years ago. Excuse me, scratching my nose. I've got something going on here. So I'm not sure if it's ever been re-released on like a higher quality vinyl. Maybe. I haven't been on the Rush site in a while, but anyway, check it out. So that's it for the studio and live LPs that I have in my collection. So thanks for joining me. I'm going to shut this one down. I will repost this video. And then I'm going to do another one that goes through my EPs and bootlegs and my box sets, okay? And then I'll show you some of my 45s and then maybe my CD collection. Okay, thanks very much. Again, my first video, so hopefully it's not too terrible. Will's Rush page on Facebook, Will's Rush page on Twitter, Will's Rush page on YouTube, and I think those are the three platforms that I am currently on. Oh, and I'm Will's Rush page on, no, I'm sorry, on Discogs or Discogs. I am Will at Home. So you can see some of my vinyl collection there, and I got a few pieces for sale. Only one Rush item right now for sale, but that's always changing. So I'll be adding more as we go through. Anyway, cheers. Happy New Year. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.